Welcome to Atlantic Television Network Society Watch. This is a program where we ventilate societal issues, give them aggregate attention with a view to provide solutions that will benefit humanity. On today's Society Watch, we'll be looking at numbers of issues starting from Imo State. Vigilante operatives allegedly killed girlfriend, dumps body in gutter. From Anambra State, government seals market over poor environmental practices, unapproved activities. On abuse of Naira, Ogun monarch suspended for decorating Kwam 1 with 1,000 notes. On family dispute, man shot father, brother, 10 other relatives. On education, teachers mandated to sign sexual harassment prevention form. These are the issues we will be looking at today, and when we return from this short break, I will introduce my guest to you. Do stay with us.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
On Atlantic Television Network, and joining me in the studio this afternoon is a security expert. I'm talking about Gabriel Okoronkwo. Thank you for joining me. Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you for having
Good to
me.
have you in the studio.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, our first story for today is from Imo State. An alarm has been raised regarding the alleged murder of a 30-year-old woman by her boyfriend, reported to be an operative of a local vigilante group in Owerri municipal area of Imo State. According to the Vero voice note by the concerned residents of Madumere Street in Owerri, the woman's lifeless body was discovered in a dirty gutter near his residence on January 7, 2024. Hear him, I am reporting a case of a girl, an complete orphan of about 30 years old who was gruesomely murdered by his boyfriend and dumped in a gutter in front of an uncompleted building. But when I came in this morning, I saw the large crowd of people at the scene and immediately mobilized to evacuate the corpse to the mortuary. I paid every bill of evacuation and mortuary, and then we went to the police station at Owerri Oban to report the matter. The officers were trying to be funny. I transferred the matter to the command headquarters in homicide section. While we were doing that, I set up my legal team, about 4 of them, to go to the community for surveillance. It was then the President General of the community came up, and we mobilized the vigilante operatives on the youth, who eventually told us that the deceased was a girlfriend to one of the vigilante members. One of the youths said that they saw the girl by 9 p.m. on the 5th of January at Onomere Street with her boyfriend. We investigated matter to find out the deceased is from Ebo in Owerri, North LGA. When we got the brother and the sister of the deceased, they admitted she was a culprit boyfriend since 4 years. They said the boyfriend's name is Chokoma, and that was even a time he went to come and pay for her bride price. We also discovered the guy is married with children. After the siblings came to the police and made their statement, the suspect was paraded by the police, but we later realized that the boy has a RTD commissioners of police who is bent in closing the case. Because the deceased family is so poor, the suspect in convenience with the RTD CP were planning to settle the family by way of paying her bride price in debt. We had earlier asked the bereaved family to be strong and join the search of justice, but they are afraid because of the suspect has been threatening them not to escalate their issues. You know, it is quite unfortunate first to realize this kind of sad news. But you know that talking about insecurity in the country, we have always been saying that people have always been saying that it will also be a nice idea if the federal government, the state government, the leaders in our country come up with local vigilantes that will also help the security agencies, like of police and army, to be able to fight insecurity in our country. And then we are having a story where the local vigilante in question that we have been putting hope on.
Okay.
One of them is the one that has carried out this evil.
That's allegedly. You know, you have to use
alleged evil.
Allegedly.
Killing the girlfriend in the gutter, like we said here. Yes, we say it's allegedly.
Okay.
But the matter is still ongoing. Investigation is still ongoing. Just imagine if it is true.
Well, it's unfortunate because we are talking about human life here. It's not something that can easily be, you know, swept under the carpet. But it goes down to, you know, so many persons will say the recruitment process from the military to the police to the navy down to the vigilante. How do you recruit the officers? How do you do your background check? Do you have any record of them? And one thing I've come to realize is that I don't know if it is peculiar with the Nigerian society, but once you put on a uniform, it is as if there is a spirit, let me not, you know, that takes over the person, and the person becomes unnecessarily violent, like lords himself over those that he ought to have been protecting. You know, you see someone is common on the road, someone tells you to park or do frog jump or some kind of. So, I don't know, the process of recruiting the persons you arm with, you know, how do you go about it? Do you know them? Do you know their temperament? So, and you are giving the person the, like, I don't know, a gun or the license to. So, it's unfortunate that the person who is ought to be guiding or safeguarding the lives and properties is the person that is allegedly being, you know, fingered or accused of taking the life. So,
and we have not heard anything from him.
So, where do you go from there?
And this is one of the few that has happened, because I know of a particular community in Rivers State, and Port Harcourt precisely, where a local vigilante, they went to one of driver's house. I don't know what transpired against them, between them, but because I am in power, because of course I'm in power, right?
Yes.
And I have the authority to, let me just say, to do what some persons cannot do.
Okay.
And then the person went extra mile to beat this man till the man slumped.
Exactly.
And this is vigilante we are talking about. And you asked a question that was so interesting. How do they recruit these people? Is it that there are some things that need to be carried out, some checks that need to be carried out before they completely accept these people? Because even if it's a local vigilante, you don't just bring them in. But how come that when they come in a period of 1 month, 2 months, they become a different person? Is that how it ought to be? Because I said that as one of the security personnel, of course, you don't have to work with emotion, because if you bring emotion in, you might not be able to carry out your duty properly. All right?
Okay.
But how did they take that away from them?
All right. See, let's see it this way. If there is a properly spelled out responsibilities, like this is your boundary, I think, and everybody follows it to the letter, I don't think there will be much challenges. Okay, let me give you an instance. There was the time they said, I don't know, I think it's OSPAC, the time they were terrorizing the streets of Port Harcourt. And some persons, some communities will say they helped in reducing crime and criminality. But I noticed when I was staying in an area in what's it called, Rumosin here in Port Harcourt. The guys came, they made it a duty, like they started levying people in the community just for nothing's sake. They can see you anytime and say you have to pay a certain amount of money, and I said, come on, you are not my security, for God's sake. I have someone who I placed at my gate, who I'm paying. So I don't have any business with you guys. They say, really? I say, yeah. And the guy made one silly comment that I should know that they are the reason why I'm safe here in this environment, that they can decide to make it unsafe. I said, did you actually say that? You don't know me from anywhere. And all of a sudden, because you demanded that I pay a certain amount of money, and I said, no, I'm not paying, and you're threatening me. I took it upon him. I made sure he found himself where he could, cool off whatever that is making him feel hot. Like for like 2 days, he was calm. When the police handled him, like kept him in the cell for him to. But imagine if I don't have that kind of, if I couldn't do that, they would go ahead to levy people. Like, it was so embarrassing. It was so, like, if you hear OSPAC, they are coming. Everybody, the women will be locking up their shops. Like, I say, oh, you guys are already terrorizing these people that you are meant to protect. So the high-handedness of the security or whoever, you see, they go unchecked. Like, this is one or many news that is being reported. Like, there are so many of it that is, being not talked about. And they go about doing it with so much temerity, like, come on, after all, we live above the law.
And they keep blaming the government, keep blaming the people over there. They are not doing anything. How are we going to have a better Nigeria when they least?
No, of course.
In the family.
It's a problem of, I think it's a problem of a collapsed system. Because if it comes from the top, in security issues, there is a chain of command. You get it doesn't come from, order doesn't come from below. It comes from up and goes down. So if, let me say, these military guys, the people in higher hierarchy, not the vigilantes, are doing what they are supposed to be doing, come on. In some other crimes where you have community policing, which is something that is somehow equivalent to this vigilante, most times they don't carry firearms. They don't. They just go about, make patrol, take note of, okay, this is what is happening, put a call across, They don't go about with arms because there are places it's not needed. But you can say the Nigerian case is a bit, because we are still developing. But that doesn't give you the freedom to, lord on the people you are. Come on, we are in the same society. But you see them, it's something that is very common, actually. It's common. You can see people, Boy Scouts or VIO, immediately you put on uniform in Nigeria. You're like a demigod. Seriously, I don't know if it is something that has to do with the uniform. I don't know if it's something that has to do with. But there was something I talk about over the years in one of the articles that I wrote. We are still having this mentality of the colonial policing. During the colonial era, the British government used the police as means of collecting tax, means of enforcing their laws, means of dehumanizing the people, the locals. So we are still having, I believe we are still behaving like we've not really come to say, okay, this is we trying to serve our people. So we are still, the security or those who are putting on the uniform, they are still seeing themselves as
The Lord of all.
Exactly.
Well, it's quite unfortunate. We hope that all of this will come to an end. Let's just keep our finger crossed and see how this administration goes. The next story is from Anambra State. The Anambra State government has closed down the well-known Uwa Mbede market situated at the Onitsha-Owerri Expressway in Onitsha due to the poor environmental practices and unapproved activities. The Operation Clean and Healthy Anambra Bridge, led by Managing Director Celestine Anere, enforced a closure on Friday. This action followed the recent closure and forced relocation of traders from the popular fruit market along the same expressway. Anere cited various environmental violations as reason for sealing the market, including its unapproved location, unsanitary condition, blocked and litter drainage system, legal and discriminated parking, and the abandonment of trucks on the main road. He said the market was sealed off for various environmental contraventions, such as unapproved location, filthy environment, blocked and litter drainage, illegal and indiscriminated parking, and abandonment of truck on the major road, among others. Traders should use the various approved markets by the state government, which are secured and off the road for their safety and betterment. It is to warn traders constituting self-marketing without approval for the state government. Anyone caught will have his or herself to be blamed. One of them, Joseph O'Connor, denied the allegation of the government. He said the market was existing for over 20 years. Has existed for over 20 years. The traders don't constitute any environmental hazard because we clean the drainage system every week and sweep the environment at the end of each business activities every day. Yes, we know that cleanliness is next to godliness, and cleaning environment where our food, edible stuffs are sold is very, very important. If not for those eating, at least for those in that environment, all right? Okay. But we had the same issues, similar stories from Lagos where they had to seal up market because of violation of sanitation issues. And we are having another one in Anambra State. But I asked, looking at the hardship in the country right now due to removal of fuel subsidy, and then looking at how the masses are actually suffering, okay, is this the right time to actually do something like this? Because, you know, a lot of persons have been talking about that the issues of insecurity in the country is because we have a lot of unemployed youth, all right? And relieving people of duty, it might be for the meantime. A man can change within 1 minute, 1 second. Do you think it's the right time to actually carry out this action, even though the warning has been happening, by sealing up some places, maybe for those that can't even pay for a space in the market? What do you think about this?
I think if you have to analyze this maybe on 3 layers. One, the responsibility of the government to the people, and the responsibility of the people to themselves or to the state. If the government seals off the market, of course there will be serious consequences, like the hardship you talked about. But you can imagine there are some, just take a stroll down some markets, around. It's not something that is far-fetched. You see the kind of, the environment. And this is where you sell things you eat. And if you don't eat healthy, come on, you are getting sick. So it's the duty of the government to make sure that the environment is clean. Sealing it off, you definitely have untold hardship of the people, because Nigeria is, wired most that people get what they eat from a daily basis. And if they don't sell on a daily basis, I wonder what will happen. But that doesn't negate the fact that the government doesn't have that responsibility to make sure that the environment is clean. So the best thing I would have suggested is, instead of selling it off, you can set up, we are good at setting up what's it called?
A committee.
Yeah, like
to collect fine.
Not really a committee, a committee, but to set up people will ensure that, you know, the market is being kept clean. Because at the end of the day, you are serving the people, not inflicting pains on them. So sealing it off is not the best solution. But you realize that government builds markets. I have seen it in one of two occasions. But people prefer, you say one of the respondents was saying that the market has been there for 20 years. It might have been there for 20 years, but the population in the environment now is not the same 20 years ago. So it has increased, definitely.
And he's saying that there is no day they don't sweep the market after every sale.
Okay, so it's not a back and forth.
A back and forth.
You know, argument with selling the truth now. So, but you see where governments build markets, designated markets, because one, it has to do with the location, according to what they said, that is not properly situated. But instead of the traders to make use of the markets that have been built in approved sites, you see them bent on using, you know, where they are used to, like 20 years, this is how we do it. But come on, times are changing. Times are changing, you have to adjust with the times. But you realize that, okay, the way the Nigerian government does things, they come down heavily on the people, and the citizens are the one that pays, you know, heavy price for some policies. Take, for instance, they might have good intentions, but the way you implement them, like, because you must have it, make it people's friendly. Okay, making the market affordable, making it accessible. So you can't just go and build market in, you know, secluded areas and expect people to go stay there.
And again, you make mention of that even if they have stayed there for 20 years,
Okay.
the population then and now might not be the same.
Yeah, exactly.
And they are saying that some of those places that were not approved
Okay.
has to be sealed up, and then they will go back to the main markets that
Alright.
it has been approved. I mean to say.
Okay.
But don't also forget that what if, let's assume that we have 100 out of 100, we have 99% in
Okay.
the approved market, and outside here where they say it's not approved, we have like let's say 40%.
Okay.
Bringing them to go and out with the other one.
Uh-huh.
The market has not been expansiated.
Okay.
They have not built new shops,
All right.
and they are expecting these people to go over there. So don't you think the place will be so congested? Because it seems government just take action without providing solution to the people.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. On one hand, you see the government trying to bring nice policies, fantastic policies. But the implementation is where the problem lies. Because, good, you build markets, and people have to go make use of those markets. But how do you do it? But on our own part as citizens, we find it difficult most times to adjust to realities, unless when it's being, you know, done as if it's now like punishment. Okay, take for instance when during the COVID, there's some person who say it's a hoax, some person don't believe in it, but for the fact that there is a laid down rules and regulations, don't do this, don't do this. Or you see people still, you know, doing what they want to do, or this is how we do it, and we've been doing it like this, so come on, times are changing.
And then what about these truck drivers, where, because they make mention of that here too, that truck drivers, they just park it anywhere, especially when it's spoiled, most times they don't even care about it. But again, you know, this is a general market where people pass, and most times the road is actually very narrow. You're looking for houses because of the trailers are going in there. Is there something that needs to be done? And you said something, I know that Nigerian, I'm one of them. If you don't push people, especially Nigerians, they don't need to do what they have to do. If you don't place fine, place this, it seems paying of fine has even become part of us. You'll just be like, is it not fine? I will pay and go away. So what can they do to truck drivers? I mean, government needs to do something, because this has caused a lot of accidents, parking trucks anywhere on the road and all of that.
Well, if you go out on the road now, it's still, I don't know, will I say, like the government fails most in their own part. Like, Because if you lead well, definitely the citizens will fall in line. You know, there's this, you know, something I read some time ago. They said this Lagos traffic issue did not start now. It's been there. But in 1975, when Murtala Mohammed became the head of state, they said because people know the nature of Murtala Mohammed. Normally people come to work late, 9, 10, and say it's because of traffic. They will blame it on traffic. But because there is a new head of state, people we are seeing in their offices by 8. Like they came to work early in the morning. What happened to that traffic? It disappeared. Because there is somebody who is known for, you know, this is how to do things. So if the leaders are doing what they're supposed to do, the citizens will fall in line. But you see, you go out to get a driver's license now, it takes you, God knows how long it's going to take you. Because why I'm buttressing on that is, if you have your driver's license, you should know that, and if you went to a driving school, you should know that there are places you are not supposed to turn. You should know that there are places you are not supposed to park, you know. But we don't do that. People just jump on their wheels and start driving, and they can park anywhere. And there is no provision for you, you know, trucks are not allowed here, or, you know. This is, you know, it should be a very symbiotic relationship between the government and the people. Make a proper provision of where things are supposed to be. This is where it's supposed to do. Then the people fall in line.
All right, this is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network. We'll return after this break, so I'm going nowhere.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Back, if you're just joining us, this is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network, and now the rest of our stories. The Egba Traditional Council has suspended Oba Kolawole Owemino, the Olu of Owode Egba in Obafemi Owode local government area of Ogun State, for publicly disrespecting the Naira at a public event. A viral video shows Osowomino decorating popular musician Wosio Ayende Marshall, also known as Wam1, with painted 1,000 Naira notes. Prior to their incident, the National Orientation Agency had already cautioned them. According to the NOA, the Monarch's action contravenes Section 21, subsection 3 of the Central Bank of Nigerian Act 2007 as amended, which stipulates that spraying off, dancing or marching on the Naira or any note issued by the bank during social occasion or otherwise constitutes abuse and defacing of the Naira or such notes, and shall be punishable under the law by fines or imprisonment or both. Oba Owomino will not also receive salary during the period of a suspension, which lasts for 2 months. Chairman of the 3 members ethical committee of the council and Olowu of Owu Oba Saka Metaminolo, while reading the decision of the body, declared that the action of Oba Sowomino breached the CBN Act and the Yoruba Traditional Constitution. He referred to pedestrians where a citizen was arrested and prosecuted by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offense Commission and sentenced to 6 months imprisonment. Oba Meta Milola said before coming to the decision, the committee examined the viral video in which Sowomino breached the ethics of Yoruba traditional institution by defacing Nigerian's currency. Oba Sowomino was seen holding trash naira notes as bread and hung onto the neck of musicians in the public. Reacting to the development, Oba Sowomino said he abided by the decision of the traditional council, saying that Father chastises the son he loves. Speaking with newsmen in the telephone chat, Oba Sowomino said the suspension was initially for 3 months, but when I apologized, the suspension was reduced to 2 months. Still in Lagos, a popular actress was sentenced to 6 months imprisonment for stepping, spraying, and dancing also have you on naira notes.
Okay.
And Oba, being Oba, we are not above the law, or perhaps we are above the law by saying, but not by action, as they decide to do his own, by hanging it on the popular musician's neck. Don't you think that this is a good thing and is serving as a deterrent to others there? Because if you enter a trade cycle and they give you money, our notes, you will see how they squeeze it. The way we abuse our currencies over here is something to really look onto. So will you say that they didn't do the right thing by sentencing him to 2 months?
Was he sentenced? I think he was suspended.
Not just suspension.
Well, in the other case, you see the lady was given 6 months, and now Oba is being given 2 months. I doubt if he's facing any serious consequences about it.
Did you see the audacity at which he spoke? Like, they gave me 3 months, but after I spoke with them, they reduced it to 2 months. He's so proud of it.
Exactly, but that is just the funny situation of the Nigerian society. The law doesn't apply, it's not applicable equitably to everybody, which is unfortunate. You do this to the Oba, then why make the other ladies only 6 months? Why? So if you have to do, the laws are properly spelled out, and there is no need of going back and forth about it. So when someone faults the law, there are consequences.
Don't you think it's because this one owned an office?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter actually. That is how it boils down to what I'm saying earlier. If you get it right from the top, come on, the next person will know that okay, if they can do this to an Oba, who am I? Well, you see how it's different. The treatment is different, but it's not common for you to not to see people go to an event and oh Lord God, you need to see how they throw money, even in churches. I've seen such thing in churches, fortunately. Some big events, you see people spraying the currency as if it's and people will be stepping on it.
Is this law really serious? I just want to know, because I mean, if you go on social media yesterday alone, you will notice that there were occasions that took place and people sprayed money. You see comedians, you see, I mean, you just see people throwing money.
Have you seen at least the ones they do on comedians cracking jokes and people are...
They just go stone
money.
Exactly. So is it really working? I mean, what exactly is going on here?
In Nigeria, we have laws. Laws for everything. Actually, we have fantastic laws. If you really want to study about, we have laws for everything. But the problem now is the implementation of that law. And in cases where they want to implement it, the proper implementation of the law. Because if you say don't spray notes or don't, it should apply to everybody. It should apply to everybody.
But it will be fun now. I mean, someone is.
So why are you spraying the cash?
Someone is doing occasion and just
No,
calm
you
down.
don't
Are you
have
gonna
to.
drop it in the person's pocket, or you know the fun is?
Well, in some places that I've seen, obviously not here. People, when they do event, there is a basket
okay.
that is provided.
Like an offering.
Exactly. There is a basket that is provided for you to put on whatever you want to give the celebrant, put it in an envelope, you wrap it up, then drop it. Maybe you can write your name. Maybe you can make a note on behalf of my family and I. We are giving this. You can just wrap it up and drop it quietly. It makes the environment look neat, organized. Come on, why spray cash? What's the essence of it?
You know, at times when we are talking about laws, and especially 1999 Constitution, I feel that this generation do not really know about laws. So I don't know, is this something that the government can do to bring this back in the mind of people? Because let me just bring it on. If you're going along this road, you will realize that we have a zebra point, and they don't even know what the zebra point is for, and they don't even know the laws that is guiding that. I don't want to dive into that. But do you think there is something the government can do to bring these laws back to people's mind?
Of course, there are. First of all, I think our education system has to be, you know, looked into for it to suit realities. Because you see people being taught different things that doesn't even, you know, apply to today's world, and you waste your time from the primary school to the secondary school up onto the higher institution. You don't even know the basics. The basics of, okay, this is what it means. Even if you could say you're a science student, you can say you are not interested in so many things, but there are foundations. There are basic things you have to have it at it. You just have to know it. Sometimes, you know, when you get someone like an American citizen, if you get the person arrested, what first the person tells you is I'm an American. He doesn't tell you I am Gabriel. The person don't say that. They first to tell you like I'm an American, and that statement alone is, for you, it should ring in your ear. Is an authority. It means a lot for you. Do you know you're talking to an American? Like for them, it's a conviction that is like a password. It's like a passcode. So get it in your head that you're an American. Wherever you find yourself, you're an American. So if we can have an education system that makes us, you know that these are the basic things, these are the essential things in life. You have to know this as a Nigerian. You have to, you know, it will help us to go a long way.
All right, the next story for today. A 30-year-old man killed 12 relatives, including his father and brother, in Iran. Official make reported on Saturday in a rare mass shooting in the country. They said the man, who was not identified, used a Kalashnikov as Saul's rival and was later shot and killed by security forces in the south-central province of Kaman. They said the cause of the shooting in the remote rural village was a family dispute. They did not elaborate. Mass killings are rare in Iran, where shooting rivals are the only weapons people are allowed to possess. 2 years ago, the dismissal employee of a state institution in the western Iran shot and killed 3 people and injured 5 before killing himself. When I read this story this morning, it was really, I don't know what I was feeling. I don't know what was going through my head. But we just talked about the Western world now.
Okay.
Though they said they have not actually elaborated what exactly happened. But what kind of punishable offense do you think this man should face by killing his father, brother, and 9 relatives? I mean, all family members.
Well, each state, when I mean state, I mean country, have their spelled out laws on how to treat each offenses. It could be, if he's found guilty, to imprison him, just melt out the proper consequences that But it's unfortunate that whatever happens, you just have to kill not one, not two,
Not two,
10
12.
persons. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
But do you think we have gotten to an era where checking us, thinking, I don't know how to call it, our psyche should be a daily thing? Because that was why I said a man can actually change within a second.
Okay.
And I know if I was to talk about a particular country, that been like, oh, they actually joke about these kind of things. Psychiatric homes are actually not working because they feel it's just for mad people. But in the Western world, we believe that these are countries that they don't actually joke with minor things. If someone is acting funny, they immediately call 911. Well, what is going on here?
I don't think it's a question of checking the person's mental
Status.
No. The cause of the dispute was not talked about, but imagine a scenario in Nigeria, because I just experienced one yesterday. The bus conductor had an agreement with one woman, a passenger, to drop her in a certain place, and when they got halfway, he decided to renege on the agreement and wants to drop the woman there. It nearly got to a fight because the woman was dragging him back and forth, on the road, on the express. So if you are being, pushed to the wall, I think something might be crazy that might act, behave stupidly. So especially when you have access to gun, so you can just, put yourself on the trigger and it goes. So it's a question of what really happened, what caused the disputes, how long has it been, how it's been treated, how it's been handled, and stuff like that.
Okay, you just make mention of something when you have access to gun. Just imagine if there was something of that nature.
Of course, that woman will shoot that.
But here, I think they have given them license to own a gun for self-defense. And we have, this is about, in this story alone, they have mentioned about 2 cases that has happened, something like this, and it has to do with family members. So don't you think it's high time their government withdraw this owing of gun and something? Because it's rather using it on their family members.
If you withdraw it, you can't take because of 1 case or 2 cases. And
do we need to have up to 100 before they do something?
No, we don't need to have up to 100. But there is a reason why they were given access to guns. Okay, now people are clamoring for guns to be withdrawn in like America because it's becoming a daily occurrence.
Disaster. Okay.
That if you don't hear that someone goes here to shoot some gays, or someone goes here to shoot something just happens and someone is shooting people sporadically. But there's a reason why, in the first place, Americans were allowed to own a gun. So it goes down to why do states allow their citizens to, you can't take because of the security of the state's security, because right now, we're taught every American, like, you are ready to defend yourself. It goes back to the when they were fighting for independence. It got that you can have your gun, you can have your arm whenever you are called upon to defend your country. So that's, will I say, that kind of attitude, that consciousness has been there for them to defend themselves. So you take cognizance of the security of the state. Yeah, that 1 or 2 persons killed their family member doesn't mean you should.
This question is for the viewers out there. If you are giving a child a toy to play with and then you realize the toy is hard enough to injure the baby, what do? Will you rather buy another, or will you encourage the child to learn how to use it, or will you withdraw it from the child? That is what I'm asking.
Okay.
You can drop it on the comment section.
But it's not a toy. A gun is not a toy. Seriously.
The
last very dangerous toy.
Today is on education. Teachers and lecturers in educational institutions nationwide are now mandated to sign a code of conduct form aimed at preventing sexual exploitation and abuse. These measures is part of efforts to address the high incidence of sexual violence in learning institutions across the country. According to the standard operation procedures for prosecuting perpetrators of school-related gender-based violence recently launched by the Federal Ministry of Justice and Education, it is forbidden for teachers to engage in sexual relationships with individuals between the age of 18 and 24 who are under their direct care. The form partly read, I agree that I will not abuse or exploit students or learners engaged in any form of sexual activities or develop physical, sexual relationships with anyone under the age of 18 outside the school environment. I understand that making the age of a child is not an excuse. I will not engage in sexual relationships with direct beneficiaries aged 18 to 24. I will not engage youth in any form of sexual activities which involve the exchange of money, employment, goods, or service for sex. This includes sexual favors or other form of humiliating or exploitative behavior. I will not use the language or behave towards a student or learner in a way that is inappropriate, offensive, abusive, sexual, proactive, demanding, or culturally inappropriate. I will not hold talks or touch students, hug or touch students learning in an inappropriate or culturally insensitive way. I will not do things of personal nature for students, learners with whom I am in contact at work that they can do for themselves. For example, taking them to toilet or helping them get undressed. I will not spend time alone, away from others, with students, learners with whom I am in contact with at work. I will always make sure that another adult is with me and I am with the students, learners in an open public place. And I put this down. Teachers are actually prohibited from staying in circulated environments alone with students, holding, hugging, or touching students, and in inappropriate or cultural insensitive places.
Okay.
That is what they say.
There
have been issues of teachers violating minors.
This is in Nigeria, right?
Yes.
The lecturers are...
Oh, yeah, this is in Nigeria.
Okay.
Lecturers, we have the case of Idim Fund that is still ongoing. Investigation is still ongoing.
Oh, you mean of the Unical?
Oh, the Unical, the lecturer in Unical.
All right.
Which was the, let me call it the scapegoat.
Well,
and then we have others, not just in tertiary institutions, but also in nurseries or primary, says teachers defining the minors. And it's becoming a problem. Do you think just signing this? I know when I went to university, they asked me to sign a form. I will be of good behavior, I will do this. But there were those that signed that, and at the end of the day, they did not even graduate, or you see them with an unnecessary attitude. So is this enough to put an end to this issue that we are having in schools?
Well, it's not enough, but...
When you asked me whether it's in Nigeria, what were you thinking?
Because it's it's funny that we can come up with stuff
with
like
all of this. All right.
It's funny because signing forms, it doesn't take it away, because like you said, this is something that we live with it. Like, it's in our society, we see it. If you don't see it, you hear it. You can't pretend as if it's not happening. It is. Like, there was a case of the lecturer had guts to even tell the student to go book the hotel, pay for it, make sure everything is in place,
okay.
Then put him on call.
Amazing.
And I told the lady involved, because she told me that this is the second time she's writing the course. I said, we can actually, follow it up in a security way. Go there, do that. Maybe you can use
a camera,
a recording device like your eyeglass or a pen. It's very simple now. It's not something you have to wear gadgets up like this.
You will have to come and teach us that. See, what will happen is we're going to end it here, but I'm going to bring you back because you need to teach us this. You are a security expert, all right?
Okay.
So you need to teach us this.
You think that the government don't know about this?
Maybe they know.
There are places, there are
We
ways
have to save ourselves at this time, not about government
No,
now.
you have to do it.
All right, this is where we can draw we are drawing the curtain for today on Society Watch. Thank you so much for joining me on this show.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
Okoronkwo. I love that part of the name.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for joining me. I am Immaculata Irikana. If you miss out, you can join us on all our social media platforms. Meanwhile, thank you, our viewers, for staying with us. Join us on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us on website, atlanticnetwork.tv. You can also download our app from Play Store, Atlantic Television Network. Do remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching and continue to stay connected on ATM Socials till we come your way some other time. Good afternoon.
From life across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.